Welcome back to SchizophreniaLife show. I'm your host. Thanks for being here. Today's topic is going to be 10 ways to influence change. So, let's just dive right into it. Number one, find meaning in life. What does that mean, James? What does that mean? Well, Bob, it means spend some time trying to sort out what is important in your life and why it's important to you. Think about what makes you happy. Think about what gives you passion, what drives you. Find meaning in your life. Moving on. Number 2, create a dream board. Now, I've done similar things to this, but I haven't gone full into it because most of my dream board, more like dream door, but it is writing and it's not pictures. From what I've studied about dream boards, some people say you can have multiple dreams up there, multiple goals, but you have to have an image of what you want. Like if you want to buy a Lamborghini, don't just put any up there. Put a picture of the one you want up there. If you if you want to buy a house in the Hamptons, find a house in the Hamptons that you would want to buy and put a picture of that. And mainly, it's to influence your subconscious because you're going to be seeing it so often, and so it becomes a tangible goal. That's the basis behind a dream board. I prefer personally to do more of quotes and stuff like that I read when I get time. But obviously, the images are way better because the quotes and stuff you may not read every time you pass. But if it's an image, boom, no matter what, everything you see, whether your conscious registers it or not, is seen by your subconscious. So if you see the same image over and over and over and over, it's just getting burned in there, and it's gonna push you to want it more and to go for it. Next, we're gonna talk about number 3, set goals to achieve your dreams. But first, make sure to follow and share the podcast with your friends. Help us grow. So, thank you if you've already done that. Next, number 3, setting goals to achieve your dreams. Obviously, if you have a dream to build a business, to anything, any dream, you want to run a marathon, you have to set goals to achieve it. You have to have all 3, short term, long term, like short term, 5-year and 10-year, and maybe even 20-year. But basically, short term would be the next 6 months, then the next 5 years, then the next 10 years. So you have to have all 3 of those set goals. And not just one, maybe you have 2 or 3 for each one. But you have to set goals. Because you can't reach your dream if you don't have goals set up to get you to the ultimate goal, which is fulfilling your dream. Next up, number 4, let go of your regrets. So, man, what's a good example? It would be like if you tried to do something and you failed, and then you didn't want to try again because you had failed before, and you regret doing it the first time because you failed, and now you don't want to try again because you think you're going to fail again. It's holding you back, regret is living in the past. Anxiety is living in the future. We want you live in right here, in the present, in the now. Number 5, try to do the really scary things. This brings me to, I'm not promoting them or nothing, but they are a great YouTube channel, Yes Theory. Not the actual videos, but their motto for Yes Theory is seek discomfort. And it's so true. Like, you have to seek out things that make you uncomfortable to grow. Um, and it's the same with pain, you know. A lot of people don't work out because they're like, oh, when I work out, I'm sore and it hurts. Well, the only time your muscles are growing is when it hurts. And a lot of the famous bodybuilders, when they were asked, like how many reps do you do? And they're like, I don't know. I don't start counting until it starts hurting. So they may they may do 100, but they didn't start counting until 97, and so they're like, oh, I only did 3, because it's only when it starts hurting that you grow. And it's the same with things that like make you uncomfortable. Maybe you're trying to ask people for money to start a business or do something, and the thought of going and talking to someone in that position makes you uncomfortable. Well, unless you do it, then you're not going to move forward. So you have to do things that make you uncomfortable, and that's why I really like their motto, which is seek discomfort. Number 6, start living a well-balanced life. This is very important. I would say it should be. These aren't in a particular order for importance. So let me just say right now that this is a extremely important one. Living a well-balanced life is huge, both physical, emotional, and spiritual. If one's out of balance, you're not going anywhere. It goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have to be in a stable emotional state. You have to be physically fit. You don't have to be like an athlete type shape, but you have to do even 15 minutes of exercise a day. That's what I'm talking about. You have to do exercise every day and be physically fit. And the more in shape you get, the better, the more energy you will have, staying hydrated, eating right, but also, not stressing out on the emotional side, not getting mad, staying positive, optimistic, spiritual. You have to have grace. All these things, if one's out of whack, it has the potential to knock the others out of balance. And so a well-balanced life is just that. It takes work. Wake up every morning, maybe 15 minutes of exercise, 15 minutes of meditation, and then start your day. That's only 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes don't even, touch your phone. Just take 30 minutes to get going. I'll talk about that at the end. Moving to number 7. It's face your fears. It's easy to ignore our fears and hope that they will go away. Unfortunately, it does not work like that. If you want to change your life, learn to master your fears so they can't control you any longer. Our fears are only thoughts in our minds that are not real, but over time we have become to believe that they are true. The only fear that I have, man, spiders. Man, they scare the shit out of me. I don't have any fear about, my podcast not growing or my YouTube not growing. I don't that's bait like I don't even look at I try not to look at like follower counts and views and shit like that. Just because if I did it would like be depressing, that it's not growing. I put in all this work and it's not growing. But my podcast is growing. Maybe it's not growing as fast as, you know, uh, Ben Shapiro or someone like that. But it is growing. Every month I do a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And so I don't have a fear of it, of me not succeeding. I have a fear of, a spider crawling up my leg or some shit. Love you guys. Moving on to number 8. Um, accept yourself. Man, this is a big one too. Um, Number 8 and number 9 are going to be also big ones. Number 8, accept yourself. Accept who you are and love yourself. Don't don't take other people's bullying and putting down, and like you post a video on YouTube and you get comments that say, "Hey, sit down, you fat shit." You ignore them. Everyone has haters. The best people in the world that you can't imagine anyone not liking have haters on social media. Like there's people who literally sit at home and the highlight of their life is to bring other people down. So ignore them. Don't let them bring you down. Accept who you are. You do you and move on. You know, I am not perfect, I don't do everything that I tell you guys to do every day. I try, but I fail sometimes. Like there are days where I wake up and I'm just like fuck it. And, and by noon I lay back down to take a nap and I'm just like screw it. I'm taking a nap. And so I have my off days too. I'm not perfect, and I'm definitely not like one of like these people who want to work, you know, 18 hours a day, 15 hours a day. I'm not one of those people. I don't have a problem with those people. That's not me. I'm not doing that. I like to relax and, watch a TV show or something once in a while. I mean, I pay for Netflix, so I'm going to use it. You know what I mean? So I could spend that time that I was watching Netflix working on, which I normally do. I normally put Netflix on one monitor and work on the other. So, I mean, sometimes I do both at the same time, but then sometimes I just feel like laying down on the couch and watching some TV, And that's okay. There's other people out there that they wouldn't let themselves do that. You have to do you. You have to accept who you are and what you want. And so if you want to, chill out and relax and play video games, then do it. But don't turn around and complain that you're not getting your goals and you're sitting there doing nothing. And that's why you won't ever hear me complain about my stuff not growing, because it is growing in proportion to the work that I put in. If I put in a lot more effort and a lot more time, I would grow a lot faster. But I don't want to put too much on my plate, and I don't want to commit too many hours because I want to continue enjoying the life that I'm living now. All right, which brings us to number 9, which is live in the moment. So the joy of actually living in the moment. This is a huge one. You know, yes, you have to have goals for your future, and yes, you have to be thinking about the future, but you have to live in the moment. You know, right now, your two, imagine your tombstone. You know what? Everyone right now, go Photoshop a tombstone and put your birthday and a dash, and then print it out and post it on your wall. No date on the right-hand side, just your birthday and a dash. Now, at some point in your life, another date is going to get put up there. The first date and the second date don't mean shit. It's the dash in the middle. That's what you want to concentrate on. You don't want to concentrate on the first date or the last date. You want to, the dash, the life, that's what matters. You have to live today, don't spend all day thinking about tomorrow. Don't spend all day thinking about what happened last week. You have to live today. Like, I don't know how to say it better than that. Everyone is going to have 2 dates on their headstone, and it really boils down to what the dash meant to everyone around them and to them. Number 10 is experience the joy of learning. But before we get into that, head on over to the YouTube channel, The Schizophrenia Life. Hit the subscribe button. I'm doing a challenge this week. I was challenged to keep track of all my progress, and I have to provide pictures at the end of the week. And so it was a challenge on Twitter that I saw, and I was like, challenge accepted. So I'm trying to grow all my channels over the next week, so I can at least say, oh yes, this week I got one more subscriber. So if I can get one more subscriber on YouTube, I'd appreciate it. That's at the Schizophrenia Life. And if you just search the Schizophrenia Life, one of the podcast episodes that are in video format will probably pop up. So, number 10, experience the joy of learning. Reading books, watching educational videos on YouTube, learning. Man, it's so important. And there was a meme, or I'm not sure if it would be a meme, like a Facebook post thing that I saw one time, and I had talked about it with people in the past, but it's look for the quiet people in the room. They're the smarter ones. The loud people are normally the dumbest. It's the quiet ones, because you never learn anything when you're talking. You learn when you're listening. And so the people that listen the most learn the most. When you're talking, you only say what you already know. But when you listen, you learn. And it's so important to keep learning. I remember a few years ago, I saw a challenge for learn something new every day. And I think this year I've done that so far, and I mean, we're almost to December. I learn something new every day. Every day I go on YouTube and watch maybe like a 10-minute video on like random stuff that I didn't know before. How the nebula in the galaxy rotates, whatever, future technologies, or I learned something to improve me at my job, how to improve your podcast, how to market your podcast, and I make sure I at least learn something new. Normally, I'm learning, 8 hours a day because I'm a software developer, so I learn all day. But learning should be fun, like straight up. If you're learning a subject and you hate it, then you're in the wrong line of work. Or if you're in school, then you're in the wrong major. Because learning should be fun. I know it makes me feel good the more I learn, like the more languages I learn in programming. It makes me happy because I'm a software developer, and so the more languages I know and the more things I know how to do just makes me that much more valuable. So you have to get your learning, and you need to decide how you learn best. If you learn best by reading, then read books, uh, download 50 ebooks, you know, video, YouTube. There's even like I think it's called like Udemy. It's like a website for like online courses that you can do. So if you want to learn a specific subject, like learn to play the guitar, then you go on there and take online classes. I know you got to pay for it, but I've never done it, so I don't know how much it costs. But there's websites like that out there. Like if you want to learn a specific subject and you can't find it for free on YouTube, but most of the time you will find someone offering it for free on YouTube. Um, just or if you are more of an audio learner and you have a 2 hour commute to work, then podcast. You can learn a lot of things from podcasts. I know this amazing podcast. You guys should, look it up. It's called the Schizophrenia Life. Just share that podcast with everyone you know. It's an amazing podcast. The guy is really amazing. All right. That was the 10 ways to influence change, and I'll tack on in your life. 10 ways to influence change in your life. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm trying to improve the podcast by actually going with a plan instead of my normal random going off on tangents podcasting style. So I'm actually, you know, before the podcast writing down what topics I'm at least supposed to cover during the podcast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Schizophrenia Life. Please follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and the podcast. That's a lot of work I'm asking of you guys to follow those, but I love you guys and I hope you guys love me, and all I want is, boom, subscribe, notify me. That's it. Yeah, I'm not asking you to comment on everything I do. Shoot, I don't even have time for that. You know what I mean? Um, Before I go, I did want to I made a mental note earlier that I did want to bring up one specific topic that I caught myself doing, and it pissed me off. So, I know I've done at least 2 or 3 or 10 podcasts on managing your time and the importance of time. I caught myself this morning saying, well, it was more afternoon, but I caught myself saying, I thought about something I had to do, and the first thing that went through my mind was, I don't have time for that. And it was like those Ray William Johnson videos triggered. Like, I was so mad at myself for that going through my own head, that I don't have time for that, because I've told you guys so many times, you should never say I don't have time for that. That's not important enough for me to dedicate my time to it. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you have other things that are of more importance to do. And so I thought about something that I had to do. That went through my mind. It pissed me off, and I ended up saying, look, Okay, and I'm talking to myself at this point. Um, it is important, but the things that I have going on right now are more important. And so I'll schedule it in for a later date. And so I I'm not going to get it done obviously right now. I'm planning on doing it sometime next year. Um, but just remember, it's not that you don't have time to do anything. It's not that you don't have time to change your life. It's that it's not important enough to you. If you're not doing something, it's because it's not important enough to you. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. And I will catch you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Schizophrenia Life out.